So you have finally decided to try out the Airbnb industry. You've heard everyone mentioning how much money they are earning or the potential to make a lot of income from Airbnb. Well, whether you are doing it for the first time or you've been in it for a while, you need to make sure you are doing it right. As a new Airbnb host, you need to make sure that you are doing the right things from the very beginning so that you can limit your losses and limit the mistakes that you're going to be making. Because yes, learning lessons will come along the way, but at least when you limit it, you save more money and you save yourself the hassle from having to correct things. Because remember, reviews are critical and your guests are an unforgiving bunch of persons that you just need to make sure that you get it right from the beginning. So I am going to be going over the tips for Airbnb success that is going to guide you through especially your setup process so that you can start out your journey towards becoming a superhost with the best practices and to shortcut the process. Now, even if you are doing Airbnb for a while, you're going to learn from the content of this video because maybe there are some tweaks and changes that you can make so that you can perfect your process as a host. The aim is to become a superhost so that your properties will be pushed more, and there are other little tips that you can benefit from, like promotions or even the $100 that you get every year towards your stay as a superhost when you are traveling. The truth is that Airbnb has revolutionized the travel industry. Hotels now fear us as hosts. They have had to be adjusting their pricing structure and their advertising and marketing to compete with us because, hey, we are giving them a run for their money. Yes, they might offer an all-inclusive experience, but not everyone wants to be crammed into the single room, especially if they're traveling with family or friends, or not everyone is willing to pay out these exorbitant fees that these hotels are charging, even if it is all-inclusive. So hey, it is a lucrative industry that you can make a lot of money from, but you have to do it right, and you have to do it right from the very beginning. So stay tuned for this valuable information that I am going to be helping you to set up your Airbnb for success and shortcut the process to becoming a superhost. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Next Level Life Hacks, where we take the next steps needed to grow towards our financial freedom and success. Thank you for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoy the content. Now let's dive right in. Now, the first thing that we're going to be doing is to optimize your listing. And when I say optimize your listing, I mean you are going to be taking the maximum opportunity here to make sure that you have success with how your listing is set up on Airbnb. The first thing is that you're going to take high quality photographs. Now, here you have different options. You can get your photos professionally taken, which is the recommendation. But hey, if you are starting on a budget as I did, then I just used my iPhone, adjusted the settings so I can filter and provide more lighting to the photographs, and I took the photographs. Now, an interesting story. The first property in a certain area that I was setting up, I invested in professional photography. Costed me a few $100s to get it done. But when I got and invested in my new iPhone, the same iPhone that I'm using now to record these videos, and that is why I use the word invest, then I could not pay out anymore for the professional photography. So I said, hey, let's do the photographs myself. Do you know that I got more compliments about the photography of the second property that I did with my iPhone than with the professionally taken one? I'm not bashing the professional photography that was done. It did look good. But sometimes when you are the host and you know the specific things that you want highlighted in these photographs, you might do a better job. But hey, if you know that your phone is not of a good quality in terms of photography, do not take the risk. It is better you invest in that professional photographer so that you can be sure of the outcome, and also it can be guaranteed, because if it is not looking good, then you can say, hey, this needs to be done over, so you are guaranteed of the outcome that you prefer. Now, if you don't know a professional photographer, then Airbnb offers assistance with that because they offer discounted professional photography service. At the time that I was listing my properties, it was $100 depending on your location for professional photography. So take advantage of that, because what I did costed me 2 or 3 times more than that. So that's a very reasonable cost. It provides you with a certain amount of photographs, however, but then hey, at least you know you have a certain amount and you never can tell. Whoever comes out to take those photographs, then you can bargain with them or negotiate with them to see if you could get additional photographs for a little bit extra, or maybe even within the same amount that you're paying. The next tip here is to do a detailed description. Now, whatever you want to highlight most in your property, then that's what you need to push in the description. It is just like a YouTube channel. The thumbnail and the video title determines if someone clicks on your video. Therefore, the photograph and the description that you put for the property is going to determine if someone clicks on your property to view the additional photographs. You might have the best photographs in the gallery of the listing, but if the person is not intrigued by the cover photo and your description or title of the property, then they will not convert to a click. Now, whatever stands out the most about your property, put it in the description. If it's in a secure, gated community, put it there. If you have a king-size bed, place it there. If it is that your house is fully air-conditioned in a tropical island, then that is an asset and that is a competitive advantage, so you need to place it in the description. Your next thing is your pricing. And one mistake that I made in the beginning, so do not make my mistake, is to just place a price randomly. And then I had also placed a promotion behind it as well. And I don't think I put the promotion there. I think it is automatically built in a 20% discount for new listings that you have to search for and you have to deactivate if you're not in agreement. I did not. So therefore, when I thought I was putting a discounted price there below the market, that 20% brought me down to a negligible amount that made me totally unprofitable in the beginning. So learn from the fool that I was. The next advice is not to set a price arbitrarily, but do a review of the other properties in your area. Switch to the traveling mode in the Airbnb app and then put in the area that your property is to be listed in. You will see a list of all the other properties in the surrounding area and the prices that they are charging per night. Try to match it back though to the features and the amenities that you have to offer. So for example, match back a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom to a similar property. Don't try to match back your 2-bedroom with a 1-bedroom or vice versa. You want to be comparing apples to apples and not to bananas. To make sure that you have the accurate comparison, then set your price strategically. Another option that you can do is the smart pricing option, or you can choose to set your price manually. Whichever one you choose, make sure it is competitive and you are not underselling the value of your property. Even though I do recommend that because you are going to be a new listing and your property will have the label new listing on the cover photo, you want to make sure that you are not overpricing or even on par with the competitors, because hey, someone is going to be willing to take a risk as a new listing without any reviews or 5 stars or a superhost label to stay at your property. So underprice the market. When you start obtaining your positive reviews, your 5-star reviews, then you can slowly raise your price competitively. Or when you become a superhost and you know that you are offering quality service, then you can even price yourself above the market. But start below is my recommendation. My next tip is to have clear house rules. Do not take it for granted that a guest will behave the way you want them to behave. And I find that the more assertive that you are, reasonably of course, and set your house rules, then you will guide the person as to how you want your property treated. And they will respect it even more when there are rules. Just like with our kids, once there are rules in place, they need to be guiding, and at the end of the day, they will respect you more as a parent for setting rules. So don't be afraid to set your rules. State how the place must be left once they are checking out. Clearly state your checkout times, amount of guests to be invited over, the quiet hours, to take into consideration your neighbors, because as more and more regulation is instilled for Airbnbs, you don't want someone to have your property shut down as an Airbnb listing, then you are left into an unprofitable position, especially if you have a lease that you cannot get out of, or you are taking on an additional mortgage, and then how is it going to be covered? Because you were expecting the additional revenue that comes with the Airbnb short-term rental system. Now the next one is key, and that is to prepare your space. Now especially for the first listing, I would recommend to get your property professionally cleaned, and then if you have the time, then you can continue or just to maintain what that professional cleaner had done. Then maybe a couple months down the line, you can get another professional cleaning, and then you can just keep on maintaining after they have done. If you do not have the time, invest in a professional cleaning company, because it will be worth the while. Because one main thing that guests come in and look for, and they have a tendency to look into every nook and cranny of the property. Sometimes things that they would not even do or expect in their own home, they are coming and expecting it in your property. And the thing that can turn off a guest the most is if something is unclean. So make sure that you have a good cleaning company, and also if you have the time, make sure you inspect your expectation. Go in after the cleaner and before your check-ins just to make sure that you have covered everything and there are no mistakes. You want to make it perfect for your guests. Especially for your first few bookings, you want to make sure that the property is in pristine condition for your check-in so that there are no complaints and you're guaranteed a 5-star review. Your other key point is your amenities. Now, just sit and imagine anything that you would want to have available in your current house and make sure it's available in your Airbnb property. Remember, one of the main differentiating factors of an Airbnb rather than a hotel is that the person is coming to feel as if they are at home. Now, especially if you have a long stay of say 4 nights or more, you want to make sure that the person is comfortable. So they have their kettle, they have a functional stove, basic seasonings, iron board, hair dryer, washing machine, and somewhere that they can dry their clothing. You want to make sure that all of these are in place. The more comfortable a guest is at your property, then the more inclined they are to leave you a 5-star review. Make sure as well that you do not skimp on towels, rags, and toiletries, because hey, this is something especially in your first part of your listing that can make or break you, because the worst thing is that they are running out of these things, not enough, then they begin to have complaints. Now, under the heading preparing your space for your check-ins, one final point here is to make sure you have a comfortable space. And it is good to expect what a guest is anticipating for their check-in. So for example, if they are checking in at night, they had a late flight coming in, then you could leave on the patio light or you could leave on the lamps inside. Or if it is during the summer and the climate or the weather is very hot, you could leave on the air conditioning close to their check-in time so they are stepping into a comfortable environment, because first impressions last. And they are more inclined to overlook certain things that are not in keeping with their expectation, the more comfortable and the more that you have exceeded their expectation once they are checking in. My final point here for this video, in the interest of time, is going to be effective communication. This can make or break you, because there is a part of the review that asks the guest how responsive you were as a host. So therefore, make sure that you are responding very quickly to any questions, concerns, or comments that a guest might have when they message you, especially when you're just starting out. Make sure you have the app on your phone and the notification is on the highest volume so that you can always hear and be made aware when a guest is trying to get in contact with you. The worst thing is for a guest having an issue or just want to find out or get some clarification on something and you are not there to respond quickly. Remember, put yourself in the situation when you check into a hotel or any resort. You have the ability to dial front desk and you want someone to answer immediately. It is the same way a guest checking into your property would like to know that you are easily accessible for any issue or concerns that they might have. This will also guarantee you a 5-star review. And just like that, just following these few steps will maximize your opportunity and your potential for success on the Airbnb platform. Especially as a new person, there are certain details that you have to pay attention to more than a seasoned person who might get away because they have the algorithms and they have the abundance of 5-star reviews that can dilute a less than 5-star review. Because hey, even if you are getting 4-star reviews, the Airbnb algorithm has a way of suppressing your listing. They really are maximizing the viewing and the potential of 5-star properties. So you just have to make sure that you are setting up yourself for the Airbnb success by making sure you are giving yourself the best chance to get a 5-star review. Now, as usual, my friends, if you have found anything useful in these videos, please watch the next upcoming videos that will be on the end screen so that you can learn more about how we are going to be growing towards our financial success. Thank you for watching this video and see you in the next one.